be launching a tasty pastry. It's a low-carb Pop-Tart. It's got 3 to 4 grams of net carbs, and we love this show. This is our best place to be in LA.
Welcome back to Legendary Foods, Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo, and today is Tuesday, June 28th, 2022. And let's find out what's going on in the world of bodybuilding and fitness. Have you ever heard the old expression, don't poke the bear? Because if I were Hadi Choopan and I kept hearing all the talk about this person and that person being the biggest challenge to ram me for the title this year, while my name was being left out of the conversation, well, it would piss me off. And the pissed off Hadi Choopan is something that, well, I don't think a lot of people want any part of. During the off season, we heard over and over and over again about how Hadi's plan was to add more size so he couldn't be out-muscled. And now I think we're at the point where we can see how some of that new muscle is going to be a factor. He's thicker and denser and better overall than he was last year. And when it comes time for him to start chipping away and carving in all those crazy details that we're used to seeing, that's when it will start to get real in a hurry. So go ahead and keep poking the bear if you want to, but you damn well better be sure to be prepared for what happens once he gets tired of it. I remember reading a book a few years ago that described the motivation as being like the tide. Sometimes it's high, sometimes it's low, and other times the waves are just so rough and choppy that some people decide to sit around and wait for clear skies before they set sail and take off. But for the extreme winners of the world, the tide is irrelevant because they know there's no way they'll ever reach their destination if they sit around and wait for the perfect conditions to appear. So instead, they just launch, knowing that they'll figure out how to navigate along the way. And to a certain extent, that's exactly what Martin Fitzwater is doing right now. He's just launching himself into his prep for the Texas Pro, knowing that he'll do whatever it takes to land himself a place in the first call out. He's not worried about the motivation or who else might be in the lineup because he knows that one way or another, he'll find a way to make it through. And as his warship finally rolls into the harbor and he touches down on that stage, everyone else better make damn sure that they're ready because he's not the type to just let a little bit of resistance slow him down. Right now, we're just under 3 weeks out from the Vancouver Pro, and if you're a Quinton Eriya fan, you've got to love what you're seeing from your guy right now because he looks like he's ready to bring the thunder. Over the weekend, Quinton's team released new updates that reminded everyone of why there was so much excitement about him heading into the season. Now that he's in the home stretch, you can see how all the work he put in during the off-season is starting to come together. He doesn't just have crazy lines and taper that he's had from day one, he's also got the size now, which make it even more dangerous. There aren't many guys in the open at his height who have the flow and structure like him, which means that if he gets his timing right, he's going to be a tough out regardless of who else steps on that stage. If you're a 212er planning to compete at the Tampa Pro in a few weeks, you might want to go ahead and turn this off right now because the new update coming from Kerrith Bajjo might hurt your feelings. Over the last month or so, it seems like Kerrith really kicked things into high gear, especially when it comes to his conditioning, which might be better than it's ever been 6 or 7 weeks out from his season debut. One other thing to keep in mind here is the fact that he actually won the show last year, which really set the tone for his season. And you'd assume that he'd like to get things off to a similar start again this year. At this point, I think it's safe to say that he's firmly established himself as one of the top 10 athletes in the division. So if he picks right back up where he left off last season, the only place to go is up. And that does it for yet another edition of Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo, reminding you to always be true to your passions and make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.